What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Showdown. We have the Arizona Cardinals hosting the San Francisco 49ers in Mexico City. Before we get started, just wanted to say thank you to everybody again. Remind you that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Zone 20 gets you 20% off at manscaped.com plus free shipping anywhere in the world. That's Zone 20 for 20% off manscaped.com products. Go check it out. Christmas season's coming up. Their shipping is actually really, really fast. So you don't need to worry about going trying to find it anywhere else. Use our code, get 20% off, get free shipping. Don't have to worry about leaving your house. You're good to go. All right, let's hop right into it. So, first off, we want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is DeAndre Hopkins. So, trending towards playing on Monday. He did log limited practice on Friday, did their walkthrough yesterday. Hamstring injury, it looks like he's going to play. He went 10 for 98 yards last week. So I don't think Colt McCoy playing is going to affect his value a whole bunch. My biggest concern with DeAndre Hopkins tonight, as we look at the optimals, is the Niners, the way that they like to play, right, is they like to run, control the clock. I don't think that this is going to be a massive shootout. I've got this game going to the Niners to the clip of about 27-20. I do think that they will win by a touchdown, maybe a little bit more, but they like to play clock control. Here's the thing. They really do have some massive deficiencies in their secondary. So if you're playing Showdown tonight, and the obvious thing is just to play the Niners, right? But you have to be, even as a Niners fan, and I am a massive Niners fan, you have to be cognizant of the fact that, look, there is, potential for this game going quite a bit differently, in a bit of a different way, right? So the inputs that I have put in to run the sims.com and the scores that I've put in are dictating out that a bunch of the Cardinals players are actually going to be massively under-owned as what's showing up in their optimals, right? I mean, Colt McCoy, is Colt McCoy really only going to be 16% owned? I mean, I know he's expensive, but for a quarterback, 9,400 is not that bad. You need to have him in your lineup. DeAndre Hopkins is another one, right? Showing up in the optimals a ton. James Conner, I don't like as much because I do think that the Cardinals will need to pass a bit, but I really, really like Rondale Moore tonight. That short, quick type of receiver is a type of receiver that will give the Niners massive issues. And if the Niners pass rush does get going a little bit here, Rondale Moore is someone who they're looking to get the ball to pretty quickly. We saw Elijah Mitchell have a good snap care count last time. The optimals don't love Christian McCaffrey. I think it's just because it's really kind of an unknown. Are Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey going to split carries again? I don't know, possibly, right? One guy that I really like tonight quite a bit that the optimals do not like is George Kittle. Yes, they have Budda Baker back there, but I think Kittle is going to be someone. I really like his price point at 7,000. He's kind of come down quite a bit. He's somebody that I can really get to. Definitely think that both kickers are massively in play here. We saw again on the Showdown last night. Guys, if you're not considering playing your kickers in a lineup, then what the hell are you doing? These guys are consistently outscoring players around them in the same price point, right? Am I going to play Robbie Gould for 4,200 or I'm going to play Juwan Jennings for 4,400? I'm playing Robbie Gould and Matt Prater before I'm playing Juwan Jennings. That's just the long and short of it, right? Especially, Robbie Anderson. Here's a guy who's done virtually nothing all year, and he's 4,000. Yeah, give me Matt Prater all day long before you give me somebody like Robbie Gould or Robbie Anderson, who's just done nothing, right? the value really isn't there. You could play a $600 Kyle Juszczyk tonight. I don't really love it. You go down. Eno Benjamin is no longer there, so Keontae Ingram is going to be the secondary running back that you're looking for. Up top, I love Ayuk. I think Debo gets a little bit more involved tonight. Jimmy G, I mean, I think you can play lineups and not play Jimmy G. I mean, you saw him last week. The Niners had a great game. You could get there pretty easily, and you didn't need to play Jimmy Garoppolo because once they get down around the goal line, they have so many options to now run the ball in, right? So that's kind of where I'm thinking with that. I love playing Hopkins as a contrarian captain. I also love playing Rondale Moore as a contrarian captain. I don't know, where the ownership is going and why. I mean, it's really spread out for ownership projections to Trey McBride, who I think is a great play and probably the best value play at 1,000. I think he probably should be in more lineups than 32% because he is a starting tight end for the Cardinals now. Elijah Mitchell at 5,800, I think, is a great play. We got him at a really cheap number last week because they didn't think he was going to be activated. Dortch is a cross off for me. But I think you could get interesting here. Like, I think you could play like a Rondale Moore, Colt McCoy, DeAndre Hopkins, and then just run it back with a couple of pass catchers without Jimmy Garoppolo, or two pass catchers or a pass catcher, running back, and then like a Robbie Gould, right? But yeah, I mean, that's kind of this game tonight is not going to be really, too crazy. I mean, you see some of the builds here. I really like the Rondale Moore captain build, and you can see the optimal likes it a lot too. And it's not going to be something that's very highly owned. This is a way where you can go get Christian McCaffrey. Now, like, here's where, like, I don't follow the optimals 100%. I like Rondale Moore, McCaffrey, McCoy, and Hopkins. These last two with Connor and Anderson, I would probably find somewhere else to get to. And that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Where, if we put, Rondale Moore, Steven Anderson, like, that is not somebody that I'm interested a whole lot in playing. I know that we're trying to just kind of figure out who the tight end targets are going to go to. But again, tonight, San Francisco doesn't play in a lot of games where there's like a ton of plays for both sides just because they run the ball. So if I'm looking at Anderson, right, I get he's $200, but like, I would rather just go down. So if we're putting Rondale in the captain spot, and then we're putting McCoy, and then who did they have in there? McCaffrey, McCoy, and Hopkins. Let's see what that gives us. So if you do that, so here's exactly what I'm talking about. You're left with $44.50 per player. I mean, it's so easy to just take Prater and Gould and then carry on. You're getting a little bit different. You've got a 4-2, which I think is great. And kind of away you go, right? I really think that, that's kind of going to be the way that I would rather do it tonight, rather than go all the way down for a salary savings for a Steven Anderson at 200 just so you could jam in James Conner, who for me is most likely going to be a fade just because of the price point tonight. I just don't like it. I would rather play either one of the 49ers running backs rather than play James Conner. His volume has been undeniable. I just don't know how many goal line opportunities the Cardinals are going to get tonight. The other consideration to think about probably is the San Francisco defense. I'm not a huge fan of playing the San Francisco defense. They're priced up a little bit. But I think I will have a little bit of exposure, but I'm certainly not going to be overexposed to them at this point. I'm just not a big defense person on a showdown slate. I would kind of probably rather go elsewhere. So my favorite captains for tonight, Rondale Moore is probably overall in a vacuum my favorite captain. Debo or Ayuk could be that for the Niners. I have a lot of interest in playing a lot of George Kittle tonight. I think that, down around the goal line, they're going to try, Arizona's not stupid, right? They'll have watched what's going on. They're going to try and play, try and stack up against the run as much as possible, and try and make Jimmy Garoppolo beat them. If you want a weird kind of like lower owned shot, I think that Ray McLeod at 2,200, who can make some explosive plays, maybe he can get a return for a touchdown. But I mean, I would be really into Ray McLeod if he was like 1,000 or like 800 or 600. At 2,200, I mean, that is just a little much. My favorite low owned play is going to be Trey McBride because he is the de facto tight end one for the Cardinals. So that's about it for me, guys. Good luck. I think that the roster builds with more Cardinals and a few guys who you think that the Niners are going to get tonight are going to be good. And then if you're going to do a full-on Niners stack and a full Niners build, the one Cardinal that I would run it back with, or the two Cardinals, would be like Rondale Moore in the kicker, or Rondale Moore and DeAndre Hopkins. Those would be my two preferred run backs, but it's going to be a lot of Rondale Moore for me tonight. So hopefully he doesn't blow out his hamstring or something weird like that. Thank you guys. Good luck tonight.